Most travelers come to Malaysia for Kuala Lumpur. But beyond the famous skyline are rainforests older than the Amazon, islands surrounded by turquoise water, mountain landscapes covered in tea fields, and cultures that have blended together for centuries. And most visitors never see all of it, because Malaysia isn't just one destination. It's several completely different worlds connected by one country. Worlds that shift so dramatically from one region to the next that they can feel entirely unrelated to each other. What people think Malaysia is. When people think of Malaysia, they usually picture Kuala Lumpur, modern skyscrapers, busy streets, and the iconic Petronas Towers rising above a skyline that competes with any major city in the world. And that version absolutely exists. But Malaysia stretches far beyond its capital. Ancient rainforests cover huge parts of the country, some of them so dense and undisturbed that scientists are still discovering new species within them. Tropical islands line its coastline on both the eastern and western sides, each with their own character, their own rhythms, and their own atmosphere. And entire regions feel completely different from one another, shaped by geography, climate, and cultures that have evolved in very different directions over centuries. Once you move beyond the city, Malaysia begins to reveal its diversity. A diversity that surprises most travelers who arrive expecting only one version of the country. Kuala Lumpur, the anchor. For many travelers, Kuala Lumpur becomes the starting point. It's one of Southeast Asia's most modern cities, built at a pace that reflects the country's rapid development over recent decades. Glass skyscrapers rise beside colonial architecture left behind by British administration, creating a skyline that tells the story of multiple eras existing in the same space. Shopping districts sit next to traditional neighborhoods where the pace is slower, the buildings are older, and daily routines have remained largely unchanged for generations. The city feels energetic, always moving, always building, always adding another layer to itself. But it also serves as a gateway to something much larger. Because beyond Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia changes rapidly. The further you travel from the capital, the more the landscape opens up, the more the culture deepens, and the more the country reveals sides of itself that rarely appear in travel guides or social media feeds. Borneo, the wild side of Malaysia. On the island of Borneo, Malaysia reveals one of its most remarkable landscapes anywhere in Southeast Asia. Ancient rainforest stretches across huge areas of the island, covering mountain ranges, river valleys, and coastal lowlands in a continuous canopy that feels overwhelming in scale. Some of these forests are among the oldest on Earth, with ecosystems so complex and so interconnected that they have taken millions of years to develop into what they are today. Wildlife thrives here in ways that feel increasingly rare elsewhere in the world. This side of Malaysia feels completely different from the modern city skyline. It feels older, slower, more primordial. And for many travelers, it's one of the country's biggest surprises. A reminder that beneath Malaysia's modern exterior lies an ecological inheritance of extraordinary depth. Cameron Highlands. In central Malaysia, the climate changes dramatically once you begin climbing into the interior. The Cameron Highlands sit high above sea level, rising through a series of winding mountain roads that pass through increasingly cool and misty terrain. Temperatures become cooler, sometimes significantly so, offering relief from the heat of the lowlands and coast. Tea plantations cover the hills in long, ordered rows of deep green that roll across the landscape in every direction, creating a visual rhythm that feels almost geometric against the natural chaos of the surrounding forest. And the scenery feels more like a mountain retreat than tropical Southeast Asia. It's a side of Malaysia many visitors never expect. A cooler, quieter, greener world sitting above the heat of the lowlands, offering a completely different experience of what the country can feel like. Most visitors leave Malaysia thinking they've seen it. But the deeper you explore, the more it changes. Kuala Lumpur gives way to ancient rainforest. Rainforest gives way to misty highland farms. Highlands give way to islands surrounded by water so clear it seems improbable. Every region adds a new dimension to the country. If you enjoy discovering destinations beyond the obvious, this channel is built for that. Not just for seeing places, but for understanding why they feel the way they do. Langkawi and island life. Off Malaysia's western coast lies Langkawi. an archipelago of almost 100 islands, known for its beaches, forests, and a relaxed atmosphere that sits in direct contrast to the pace of the mainland cities. But beyond the shoreline, mangrove forests and hidden coves reveal another side of the islands that many visitors miss entirely. Boat tours move through narrow mangrove channels, where roots arch out of the water and the forest closes in overhead, creating a tunnel of green that feels ancient and undisturbed. Eagles circle above the water along coastlines that shift between sandy beaches and dramatic rock formations dropping straight into the sea. Life moves slower here. The pace changes almost immediately upon arrival, as if the islands themselves insist on a different rhythm. And many travelers come looking for exactly that. A place where the pressure of itinerary softens, where evenings are measured by sunsets rather than schedules, and where the ocean is close enough to hear from almost anywhere on the island. People and everyday life. One thing many travelers remember about Malaysia isn't only the scenery. It's the cultural diversity that shows up in daily life in ways that feel organic rather than arranged. Malay, Chinese, Indian, and indigenous influences have shaped daily life throughout the country over centuries of trade, migration, and coexistence that have produced something genuinely unique. Different traditions exist side by side in the same neighborhoods, the same streets, and sometimes in the same buildings. Mosques, temples, and churches occupy the same city blocks in towns across the country. The result is a country that feels remarkably diverse, not just visually, but in its rhythms, its sounds, and its daily texture, food and culture. Malaysia's food scene is often considered one of the best in Asia, and the argument is difficult to challenge once you spend a few days eating your way through it. Malay, Chinese, and Indian traditions combine to create an incredible variety of dishes that change depending on where you are in the country and which community's cooking is shaping the menu. Nasi lemak remains a national favorite, coconut rice wrapped in banana leaf and served with a combination of accompaniments that varies from stall to stall and region to region. For many visitors, the food becomes one of the highlights of the journey, not just because it tastes good, but because eating in Malaysia is one of the most direct ways to understand how the country's cultures have influenced and enriched each other over time. Why travelers are looking beyond Kuala Lumpur. Travel habits in Malaysia are changing as more visitors arrive with a wider sense of what the country can offer. Many visitors still arrive through Kuala Lumpur, using it as the primary entry point and spending much of their time within the capital. But increasingly, travelers are spending more time exploring the rest of the country. Rainforests in Borneo and Taman Negara that require effort to reach but reward that effort in ways that are difficult to describe to someone who hasn't stood beneath a forest canopy that has existed for millions of years. Because more travelers are searching for destinations that offer both variety and authenticity. Malaysia delivers both. Who this side of Malaysia is for. This side of Malaysia is for travelers who enjoy contrast and are willing to move between very different environments within a single trip. For people who want cities and nature without having to choose between them. Modern life and tradition often visible from the same street corner. Adventure and relaxation available depending on the day and the direction you decide to travel. Malaysia offers all of it, often within a single trip, and sometimes within a single region where the landscape shifts so quickly that the experience changes before you've fully processed what came before. Malaysia isn't just skyscrapers and stopovers. It's rainforests, islands, cultures, and landscapes that change dramatically from one region to another without ever losing the thread that connects them. A country shaped by geography, history, and the long process of different peoples finding ways to live alongside each other and build something together. And once you move beyond the obvious places, you realize how much more there is. How many layers exist beneath the surface? How many versions of Malaysia are waiting for travelers willing to look past the first impression and stay long enough to see what comes next? Subscribe for more journeys beyond the tourist version. And tell us, would you choose Malaysia's rainforests, islands, or mountains first?